How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the whole Will Smith OSCARS drama where he slapped Chris Rock over a joke about his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. Now, this is ridiculous. First and foremost, there is no excuse for what Will Smith did, none whatsoever. People want to say, oh, well, it's his wife. You shouldn't have spoken about his wife, all this, that, and the third. But you're talking about a comedian, okay? Like, let's just have that be understood. Chris Rock is a comedian, and comedians tell jokes. If the joke is offensive, if you're mad or whatever it is, you need to leave. You need to not get on stage and strike the comedian, because what happens, even if it was fake, which I'll talk about in a minute, even if that whole thing was fake, it doesn't matter because they've not come out and said it was fake. And even if they do come out later and say it was fake, the damage has been done. People are going to believe it already. So it's going to be a comedy club somewhere in the country where some guy tells an offensive joke about somebody in the crowd, as they always do, which is what a comedy show is. And he wants to get on stage and he wants to slap the guy over the comment or do something else, pull a pistol and shoot him. People are stupid. People are crazy. And they follow celebrities in their example. Okay. Will Smith being who he is, very powerful person, multi-millionaire, been around for 20, 30 years in entertainment, recognizable face. For him to do something like that, inexcusable, point blank, period. Now, what was the joke? Well, the joke was about, and if you want to see the full thing, I'll link to it in the box. Maybe I'll play it here, but I don't want to get struck by the Oscar awards. But the joke was about Jada Pinkett not having hair. You see, I got my Samuel L. Jackson / Caillou look going on right now, right? Anyway, he said, hey, G.I. Jane 2, looking forward. Something like that, right? To Jada.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right?
Will Smith laughed at it. Jada didn't laugh at it. She kind of had a little scowl. And if you don't know what G.I. Jane is, that's a movie starring Demi Moore where she went to the military and shaved her head. And Jada obviously has alopecia. The head's, skinhead bald or whatever, real, kind of like low cut like mine. And that joke was funny at first to Will, then it wasn't funny. Then she got upset. Now Will has to go up there and quote unquote defend his wife's honor. It was a whole big ridiculous mess. And the whole thing about alopecia, it's just a condition that causes hair loss. It's not like you're dying of cancer. It's not cancer or anything serious like that. You know what I mean? It's just hair loss. Okay, I'm bald too. That's just what it is. It's a bald joke. And you got to be able to take that kind of joke when you're dealing with a comedian. Are you at a comedy show? No, you're not. But you're at the Oscars, and you know this is what they do at the Oscars. If you bring on Ricky Gervais or Chris Rock or some comedian to host, you know it's going to be going around the crowd, picking fun at people, and it's all in good fun. It's not meant to be malicious. It's not meant to be hurtful. He's a comedian. That's what comedians do. So if you go to the Oscars, you got to be willing to take jokes. And if you can't take jokes, then my advice would be don't go to the show, right? It's very simple. Now, after Will Smith goes on stage and slaps Chris Rock had the best composure you can have, the absolute best composure. He kept himself in check. Some say, well, I would have retaliated. And before I continue on to the next part of it, like after the slap, people are going to say that they would have went on stage and beat Chris Rock up. If they say something about his wife, and if they were Chris Rock, they're going to retaliate. They're going to go on stage, do all that in the third. But do you understand where you are? Do you understand the stage? Like, this ain't the street corner. This ain't the schoolyard. This ain't even your house. When you beating your kids up or whatever, getting the police called on you. This ain't that. This is the Oscars. The whole world is looking at this. All over the country. Like, the fight with Will Smith saying, keep my wife's name out your effing mouth. That was censored on American TV.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's
G.I. Jane のジョークだったんです。
I'm going to, okay?
If not for Japan and other parts of the world, we wouldn't even really know about all that part. They had it over there. We got their feed from them, and we were able to play it here. So the whole world is looking at this. If you got Chris Rock and Will Smith, two black men, I'll talk about that a little bit later, two black men on stage fighting at the Oscars. I mean, come on. It reminds me of when Troy Ave, a rapper, was shooting inside, I think it was a Beverly Center in New York City. People were hiding from him with a pistol. This is why, when you're talking about hip-hop shows, they don't want to do them. They got to have extra security, and it costs too much money, all this, that, and the third, because they know that we, black men, are going to bring violence. And then you go on stage and perpetuate the same stereotype, do the exact same thing that we're trying to break out from. We're trying to not be seen as violent, dangerous criminals, can't control ourselves, low impulse control, low IQ. And you go on stage and prove all those stereotypes right in that moment. All of them. And on top of that, this was supposed to be the night of quote unquote black excellence, because Jada Pinkett's boycott about 6 years ago. I'll get to that, I promise. Remember the whole Oscars so white situation? And she was saying there was not enough representation at the Oscars. It was too white, too many white people, and not enough black people getting awards and nominated and whatnot. So then there was this whole big effort to make the Oscars more black, basically. More quote unquote inclusive, basically. That was the whole thing, right? So after this effort, you get Will Packer to produce it. Will Packer is movie producer. He produced movies like the Best Man and a bunch of other black movies. Kind of like a Tyler Perry, but just on maybe a lower level, but with bigger movies, I suppose. I'm not really sure. But anyway, Will Packer was a producer. Then you have, I think Questlove from The Roots was there DJing. You had Puff Daddy there. You had, or Diddy, as you guys may know him. You had Queen Latifah, Beyonce, Jay-Z, all these people at the Oscars. Supposed to be a black excellence. You had Will Smith getting Best Actor, his very first Oscar ever, over Denzel Washington, who's another great actor. Both very powerful Hollywood black men. It was supposed to be black excellence, and you will go on stage and ruin it. Ruin it. And to get back to Jada and what she was talking about a few years ago, the Oscars so white thing, she boycotted the Oscars. Her and Will boycotted the Oscars back then because it wasn't enough representation. Fast forward to today, she got what she wanted, right? Will Smith wins the Oscar. There's a lot more black people at the actual show. She got what she wanted, but Will Smith ruins it. And Chris Rock hosted the awards back then and made a joke about Jada. This was 6 years ago, by the way. It wasn't like, oh, he keeps back to back talking about Jada. It's 6 years ago. So the joke was something like, about Jada boycotting the Oscars. He was like, well, how you going to boycott a place you weren't really invited?
Jada boycotting the Oscars is like me boycotting Rihanna's panties. I wasn't invited.
That was a joke 6 years ago. I think it was 2016. So time moves on. You got to be to move on from that joke. You still worried about that joke right now? I mean, that's just so silly. It's so silly. Chris Rock makes jokes about everyone in the crowd, everyone in the audience. That's the reason why they have him there, for comedic relief, to spice it up, because quite frankly, the Oscars are not an entertaining show at all. It's just Hollywood people giving themselves pats on the back. Ain't nobody really trying to see that, for real. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody wants to see that. But they had the show. They want some ratings. Some say it could have been fake to improve the ratings. I don't think so. I don't think so, because that makes the Academy look bad. Like, normal people may look at that and kind of get entertained, kind of like Love and Hip Hop, WWF, that type of thing. But when you're talking about the establishment people in Hollywood, they frown upon that. They're talking about revoking Will Smith's Oscar from him. Very first Oscar ever, Actor of the Year. And Jada was trying to lobby to get this moment to happen, all taken away. All because of what he did on stage. Couldn't control himself. And then as I close, I want to say this. There was an apology speech, and I'll link to that. I'll link to everything in the box. There was an apology speech. He's talking about, I'm sorry to the Academy. I'm sorry to my fellow nominees. I'm sorry to everybody but Chris Rock. He didn't say that last line specifically, but he may as well have, because he didn't apologize to who he should apologize to, and that was Chris Rock. That was the actual guy he needed to actually say something to. But he didn't do that because he meant what he did. He wanted to do what he did because he felt like he was justified, because he felt like Chris Rock was bullying Jada, although it's just a joke. It's just It's just comedy. It's simple as that. That's all it was. So he went from slapping Chris Rock to going back to his seat, screaming at Chris. Then a few minutes later, Puff mentions the whole situation. Will's laughing, and then Will goes on stage after that and is crying, boo-hooing. I don't want to see Will Smith or that weird, ridiculous family anymore. I'm tired of them. I'm done. It's been so much ridiculous nonsense, you know, a bunch of misplaced anger. Will Smith is mad at his wife for sleeping around, bringing boys in the house and having the boys go on TV and make songs and embarrass them. He's mad about that. All that pent-up anger, and frustration is now coming out, and you want to slap Chris Rock as a result. You want to take your anger out on the wrong person, okay? You should talk to your wife. You should talk to the boy that was messing with your wife in your house, that you invited into your house, that you took pictures with. That's what you're really mad at, okay? And don't get mad at us for commenting on what you guys got going on, because you put it out in the podcast, Red Table Talk. If you guys have content, okay, if you guys have content on the internet, I'm going to respond. I'm going to talk about it. Why not? It's fair game, ain't it? It's out there on the internet. It's for us to consume. So all this stuff about Will being the victim, all this and that and the third, please stop. This was embarrassing. You got a problem with Chris Rock. If anything, you address it after the show, but you shouldn't be so soft to where you got to approach a comedian over a joke. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about what happened here at the Oscars? You think it was justified, unjustified, embarrassing, not embarrassing? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I stand. This was ridiculous. People talking about, oh, she had alopecia, it's that man's wife. So, all right, so you're going to go to a comedy show and fill out the form to say, are you married or single? Do you have any kind of skin conditions? Do you have an illness? I'm like, what? Ridiculous, dumb, stupid, embarrassing, and a mockery of professionalism. You are a Hollywood actor. You know how to behave. You know how to operate in certain rooms. This was a disgrace. People want to call Kanye West crazy. I never seen Kanye West go on stage and slap somebody, then start crying afterward. I've never seen that. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.